Good morning. I'm proud to have with me today two-time world boxing champion, Billy the Kid Dib. Welcome, Billy. Thanks for coming down.
No, thanks for having me, Bill. Appreciate it.
Really good to have you, Billy. For those of you out there that don't know about your achievements, you fought 56 times for 48 wins, 6 losses, and 2 no contests. That's a very, very impressive record, Billy. Does anything stand out for you there?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the standout moments definitely winning the world title, becoming world champion and solidifying myself as a recognized world champion and, cementing myself in the history books for the rest of my life. So, I mean, that was a great achievement for me. And to be recognized as a two-time world champion is just a fantastic thing.
Absolutely. We're very proud of you too.
Thank you
And the
very
whole
much.
community is proud of you. Just a quick question. What school do you go to?
I grew up in the Sutherland Shire, so I started school at Engadine Public School. Then I moved on to Heathcote High School, and then I finished my last year at actual Condell Park High School. So
Local.
and then I left to the Australian Institute of Sport, and I basically did my Year 12 HC via correspondence. So I was
Fantastic.
traveling, I was representing in Australia at the time, and didn't have time to be at school. So I was doing everything via correspondence, which wasn't easy, but I got through it.
Awesome. And other question is, how did you get into boxing?
I mean, I started boxing at the age of 12. It was just something that I started after being bullied at school. My father was a very smart guy, and he still is a very smart man today. And
Indeed he
he
is.
actually said to me, he said, look, we need to break down the barriers and need to make friends with these kids outside of school. So I started playing a bit of rugby league, and then just one day at the field, the trainer pulled out a set of pads and some gloves and said, we're going to do a box size session today. And as a young boy growing up with 5 brothers and 1 sister, I knew something about boxing. All we did was watch Rocky movies. So, put the gloves on and I hit the pads, and the trainer asked me if I'd ever boxed before, and I said, no, but I watched loads of Rocky movies. And he said, mate, you need to get down to the gym. Go to the Sutherland PCYC, and I walked into the gym and I never looked back.
Champion. Mate, the only thing I pick up on is Billy is a Dragon supporter.
Oh, God, here we
And
go.
I do feel sorry for him. He'll be
Here
all
we
right.
go, here we go.
Along this journey, Billy, who's been your biggest supporter?
I would definitely say that I haven't had just one supporter. I've had a network of supporters from my trainers, to my family, like to the supporters, the friends, and everyone's really put a great effort in to get me to the point where I got to, and it didn't come easy. Came with a lot of sacrifice and hard work and dedication. We all pulled our weight, and we eventually got there.
Champion. You've released a book,
Yes.
A True Heart, The Fight of My Life. Why did you write this book?
I mean, I started writing this book in 2015 after Sarah, my wife, passed away. I did it as something to, to sort of occupy my time. And I had been taking notes from such a young age, and I thought, I'm at the point right now where I can start writing a book, and I started writing it. So I started in 2015, and I only just released it late last year. So it was a long process. A lot went into the book, and the book's not a book about boxing. It's a book about life. It's a book about overcoming the adversities of life, overcoming the bullies. And there's not just bullies at school, by the way. Like in the boxing circuit, there's a lot of bullies. Like the promoters are bullies. The matchmakers are bullies. It's one of those things. You're forever getting bullied, and I decided to write about every setback, every failure, every high, every low, and eventually we got to this amazing book. The Fights of My Life.
It is a great book. In the book, you detail the highs and lows, but you also speak about your brother, I think Emad.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more?
Yeah, my brother Ahmad, he sacrificed a lot. He sacrificed a lot. He saw the determination in a young kid who had the determination and the drive and the will to get to the top, and he was going to stop at nothing but to get me there. So he actually put in a lot of hard work. At that time, calling America, and that wasn't cheap. So he was always on the phone and racking up phone bills, trying to put deals together with fights, and so I'm grateful to my brother Ahmad. He did put in a lot of hard work, and as I said, it wasn't just him; it was the whole family, and everyone pulled their weight to some extent. But my brother Ahmed did go over and above to make sure that I got to that world title and to solidify myself as a recognized world champion.
Absolutely. You also go into great detail about being at a low point after missing out on the Olympics. But when that door closed, another opened. You met Prince Hamad in London and later Jeff Fenech. Tell us about that trip to train in Las Vegas.
When I was 21 years of age, I remember turning 21, and we organised a little bit of a dinner, and Jeff Fenech was invited to the dinner. And when he turned up, I was like, where's my present? You know what I mean? I was like, wait, this guy's come empty-handed. I can't believe Jeff Fenech, 3-time world champion, you know what I mean? Legend of the sport's come empty-handed. Hasn't even brought me a cake or nothing. Anyway, as the night progressed, Jeff got up and he said that he asked for some silence and he wanted to make an announcement. And he said, look, Billy, he goes, I know you're going through a bit of a rough trot at the moment. He goes, but for your 21st birthday, I've decided that I'm taking you to Las Vegas to train alongside Mike Tyson. I was absolutely flabbergasted and blown away, and I couldn't believe that here I was, a young 21-year-old, and I was going to be getting the opportunity to train alongside one of the greatest heavyweights of all times in Mike Tyson. And the trip was definitely a trip that I'll never forget, and it was basically the starting point of my professional career. At that point, I had already had 13 professional fights, and I was undefeated at that time. But then I got signed to Golden Boy Promotions while I was over there. I met Sugar Shane Mosley. So, one door led to another. And then eventually, I had this thing as a kid, as a young boy, anything I ever wanted, anything I set out to get, I always got, because I was just so determined and I persevered. I never gave up. I had a vision. I was consistent in the vision. I just kept on knocking on doors. And, when I was in America, I didn't just take the opportunity to train with Mike Tyson as that's it. I'm just going to go there, train with Mike. I took some discs with me so that I could show people my highlights. I went to the fights. I gave it out. I gave it to Oscar De La Hoya. I gave something to one of Shane Mosley's friends. And, just through giving out the disc, Shane Mosley ended up watching and invited me to Pomona, California to train alongside him, which was absolutely fantastic because he was still, in the peak of his career at that point. And to go over there and to impress a legend like Sugar Shane Mosley and then to get signed up to Golden Boy Promotions was an absolute dream come true.
Huge. Absolutely huge. In the book also you talk about the happiest days of your life. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, man, look, it's no secret that I've had many highs in my life, and it's no secret that I've had many, many lows. And obviously one of the biggest lows in my life was losing my wife Sarah to cancer. But when God takes, He gives, and through the grace and the mercy of God, I met my beautiful wife Berry today, and I would say that the greatest achievement of my life and the greatest gift that I've been given is the title to be a father. And my son Laith he's the world to me. He means everything to me, and I see the sun coming out of his bum. I love him so much. He's my world and everything in it. And he just makes me so proud. And just to see, him achieving things at such a young age, and the way he talks and the way he walks and the way all of that just makes me so proud. And that's definitely the greatest achievement of my life.
Well, as they say in Arabic, Allah khalilak, yeah?
Thank you so much.
You're engaged, as you mentioned, in 2015, and then you found that you had found your soulmate, and then tragedy struck. It must have been a very difficult time for you and for the whole family. How did you cope?
I mean, as I said, it's there's one thing that I stand by, and that's faith, family, friendship, and love. And that's basically the 4 steps that got me through, is my faith in God, knowing that Sarah was in a much better place, the support of my wonderful family, support of my friends, the love of the community. That's what helps you through. Anytime you're going through a certain dilemma in your life or a certain, setback in your life, it's the people that you lean on that get you through. And, Sarah's death was definitely a major hit for me. But as I said, I put my trust and faith in God, and I know that God had a much better plan for her, and that's why she's not here today.
Absolutely. obviously also mentioned that now you're remarried to Berry,
Yes.
and you have a beautiful young boy, Leith, and you recently diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
Your life must have been turned upside down. Your book is quite an inspiration. What's your message to young men and women out there?
My message is it's a very simple one. I mean, especially to young kids who are at school, I try to, paint the picture of how I was looking at life as a young boy. I remember walking into the gym, and I remember when I walked into that gym, the vision was clear. Right then and there, the vision became so clear to me that this is what I was destined for. And so it's very important that regardless of what you want to do in your life, whether you want to be a school teacher, whether you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, an athlete, a sportsman, whatever you want to do in your life, it's about setting goals. And it all starts with a vision. And then in order for that vision to come to any fruition, you need to be consistent in your approach. Find out what it is that you love, be consistent in it, and in the end, you'll only find success. And that's my message, believe in yourself and set the bar high and knock the goals down.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to touch on something very quickly as well. In the book, you said something that hit me really hard. As you began chemo or during chemo, one day the doctor came through the door and you were thinking or you were imagining being at the funeral parlour.
Yeah.
And at the LMA. That was totally heartbreaking. Can you tell us a bit more about that point?
You know what? It's. I wrote about that because actually what happened was that I remember that day, that was the day that I was told, I'd been told a few days prior to that I had cancer, and that this was a scan that was going to let me know whether I was riddled with it or not. Mm-hmm. And if I was riddled with it, I mean, obviously, they were going to hit it. They were going to hit it hard regardless. And I remember, I remember going into the to the scan, and they put you through, and I was laying down. And I imagined myself in a casket. I closed my eyes and I prayed to God. I said, God, I know you got a plan for me, and I'm not sure what the plan is, but God, I got a son, and he's only 3, and in a couple of years' time, he's going to need me to walk into school. So please, God, allow me to come through this without being riddled, and I was in such deep thought that I actually fell asleep. And while I fell asleep, I dreamt that I was in the maghsal. I was in the wash where they wash the dead, and I was there, and my brother Jihad was there, my brother Imad was there, Muhammad was there, Nasser was there, Yusuf was there, and my uncle Angelo was there. And my uncle Angelo is Greek, and he's not even Muslim, So I was like, what are you doing here, Uncle Angelo? And I was talking to them about how to wash me and how to prepare me for my burial. It was so weird. And then I woke up, and the doctor was there, and I said to him, like, how did it go? And he goes, got some good news, it's not as bad as we thought, you know what I mean? So, like, he goes, it is going to be a tough journey, but you'll be okay, you know what I mean? Like, we'll get through it. And so, as difficult as the journey was, I always kept in my mind that, what, I got to do this for my son. I can't give up. Regardless of how hard it got, I was very, dedicated to the thought that, I'm not leaving my son behind. So I just pushed and pushed and pushed, and I eventually got that result that I needed, and that was that, hey, Billy, you're in remission, which was something that I'll forever hold close to my heart. March the 6th.
Absolutely. We're very blessed to have you with us. Another question is, you've just come back from America.
Yes.
And they awarded you with a title.
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
Yeah, so I was invited to the IBF boxing convention. The IBF has been a very loyal sanctioning body to me. I was very loyal to them. I mean, they showed the loyalty back. And then, throughout the journey, which as difficult as it was, I remember getting a message from Daryl Peoples. And Daryl Peoples is the president of the IBF, the International Boxing Federation. And he sent me a message saying, we'll see you at the next convention. And I said to him, I pray that I will. He goes, nah, mate, when you get there, he goes, we're going to present you with something special. He goes, so we'll see you at the next convention. So that was like a motivation to survive, And then once I was deemed in remission, they contacted me and said, "Are you able to travel?" And I said yes. They said, "Well, we'd love to have you over at the convention." So they invited me, my wife, and my son to Chicago for the convention. And when all the champions were there and all these people were in the venue, they invited me to the stage and said that they're presenting me with the championship title for beating cancer, which was like just absolutely blew me away.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely
definitely.
amazing. One last question, Billy. When am I going to have a chance at fighting you?
Oh, God.
Got to
Listen.
teach you a lesson or two.
Listen, you stick to the karate, I'll stick to the boxing. And at the moment, you know what, to be quite honest with you, people often ask me, are you going to get back in the ring? Are you going to fight? At this stage, I'm saying no, because I'm just happy to be alive. You know what I mean? And I'm not looking to compete or do anything like that at the moment. But, it would be an amazing story to be able to wrap it up with one more win. But at this stage of my life right now, I'm just so happy that God's given me more time to be with my family. And that's the one thing that I'm super appreciative now, is that time, because time is something that's not promised, you know what I mean? So, like, when you're given some more time, and even the time is not promised, and you don't know whether you'll be taken today, tomorrow, or the day after, I'm just really appreciative that God's given me another opportunity at life.
Absolutely. Billy, you're a true inspiration. We're very, very proud of you, and thank you for coming out and sharing your life. And I hope, as you did, you will still inspire many, many generations to come. Thanks
Thank
for
you
your
very
time.
much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, champion.